Hello and welcome back, beautiful soul. This is video number 3 and we get into the juicy part of putting your unique offer together. So this is where we take all of the stuff that you've just done about the sad face to happy face, who it's for, and now we put a pretty little bow on it and we decide how we're going to deliver it to them. Now this is where Carissa's genius really shines, so I'm not even going to try and pretend to stand on her toes. I'm going to leave it in your very capable hands to step them through how they do this and how they create the package itself.
Amazing. Thanks, babe. In the last couple of videos, we took you through the process of really starting to unpack your own sad face to happy face and that of your clients as well. And I shared with you an example of where you could go through and kind of map your own timeline of all of the different processes, the different breakthroughs, the different things that had you get from sad face to happy face. And through this process, in our product creation is when we get to go into those a little bit deeper and start to reverse engineer the detail so that we know what it's going to take, how long it's going to take, and what it's going to look like for our own clients through the journey from sad face to happy face.
Sexy.
Yeah. And so it's really important to keep in mind things like, you know, in one session, how much is it going to take? How much can they take through the process, right? Because, you know, in the totality of this offering, we want them to have the time and space and capacity to not only learn, but to like receive it, to integrate it, to have some practice and walk out in the world and have some things show up for them that maybe they'll wobble and, you know, and really embody the processes that you're sharing. And it's really important to know that we don't want to give them too much in one go because, you know, as we
overwhelm.
Overwhelm, and we just don't really implement anything.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you would have experienced this yourself in your own journeys where you've maybe been to a full day workshop and you're like, boom, 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 so much information and you take away this much, you know, because there's no time for integration and embodiment, especially if you don't have the recordings and you don't have time to go and practice it out in the world. And so this is where you get to start to really create a process and create a journey that you take them through. Yeah. So with that, you can start to determine whether this offering is for a one-on-one situation, whether it's for a one-to-many situation, whether it can be some kind of a combination of something in between. And you get to really craft this to hone in on your own skills and the way that you like to deliver a message. And you also get to look at the avatar and the ideal person that you're creating this for and look at how this is really going to benefit them and how they learn and how they integrate. And so through that process, you get to decide like how much support are they going to require? Are they going to need you to hold a hand or are they going to want a little bit more independence? Are they going to want interaction with maybe some of your other clients in a group setting, or is this really a personalized process, in-depth process that they need to go through? And perhaps you have a hybrid where you have one option where it's a little bit more one-to-one and one option where it's group, and maybe some clients get both. And so this is where you really get to play and create. And this is actually my most favorite part of the whole process, is really unpacking this and finding where the genius lands for you in creating and birthing this beautiful way to share your journey with these people.
Yeah. And the other thing that I really love about what you've shared is that this is your opportunity to create the program you wish you had when you were going through that thing. And this is where some of the most powerful, potent pieces of work come from, because you have this experience and you're like, oh, I just wish there had been this and that or this, and it would have made the whole thing so much easier. This is your opportunity to give that to your people.
Totally.
Yeah.
And also it's in addition to that, when you have gone and involved yourself into different programs, taking away the things that you love, taking away the things that really had you get the lesson or get the embodiment or the process or what have you. And that is kind of where we get to make it the best of the best. Yeah. And this is where the uniqueness comes in, because it doesn't have to look like anybody else's. It can be just a beautiful conglomeration of all of your different ways of loving to interact with people. And so, you know, through that process, you want to be really mindful of like, you know, if they receive one lesson and it's a big lesson, right? And that might be, again, delivered one-to-one or one-to-many. It might be pre-recorded. It might be in an event. it's about really understanding how long it takes them to integrate that lesson or integrate that healing or integrate that particular breakthrough that they had. And so when we take these things into consideration, we start to understand how long the totality of the process takes. And also being really mindful that just because it might have taken you a year, 2 years, 3 years to get this breakthrough, that doesn't mean that it has to take them that long, because you have gone and seeked and sought after the answers and the different breakthroughs, which gives you an amazing combination of skills that you can actually shorten that process massively for them.
Yeah, that gives you so much potency to give them the exact pieces. So I remember the first time that I heard this, it was called Standing on the Shoulders of Giants, where when you've been through a process and you can shorten it like that, and instead of it taking them 5 years, you can give it to them in a way they can do it in 6 months or 12 months or 12 weeks, depending upon what it is.
Yep. Beautiful.
Yeah.
And so from there, we ultimately want to look at the different types of delivery. And so we have a beautiful list of examples of...
And they're going to pop up.
Yes, they are. Of different
in a second.
Of different examples that you can use to deliver and support and hold the hands of your people as you walk them through the process. And so again, these are just some examples, but if you come up with your own unique example, even better. So these are some of the ones that I've used for myself with my clients, that I've seen in other programs that I've been in, and, that have been really amazing ways to interact and engage and create a breakthrough for people.
Yeah. As we go through them now, they're going to pop up on the screen for you.
Yes. So we have live or pre-recorded trainings, live events, whether they be in person or online, retreats, VIP days in person or online, one-on-one coaching, group coaching, behind the scenes energy work for those healers of you out there, private Facebook groups where your groups can interact with each other, private message access to pre-recorded digital products, courses and programs. So if you've created a course in the past that you think will be valuable for a one-on-one client, for example, adding that in can be an amazing bonus.
Sexy bonus.
A membership site, recorded meditations, subscriptions, ebooks, workbooks and worksheets, audio tracks, and lifetime access to the recordings, which is an amazing piece of value.
Because it's in the gift when you can give this to your clients is you give them the opportunity for mastery, because when they hear you teach something for the first time, depending upon where their level of consciousness is, they're only going to be able to receive so much. And if you can make the recordings available, then as their consciousness shifts, they're able to receive so much more from you. It's like the gift that keeps giving. It's a really powerful feature to have in there.
Totally. And so once you've determined, how many of the one-on-one sessions or how many training sessions and how far they are separated in order for that client to implement and embody the experience, you start to get a picture of how long the journey will take. In many other examples of this, and I've seen other business coaches and stuff do this in the reverse before, where they pick the time and then they try and fit everything in there, and then they realize throughout their delivery that everybody's overwhelmed, or people are having massive wormholes because there's just too much to embody.
Too much happening.
Yeah. And so it's really important to kind of map the journey and the process, and then to complete the offer creation with a timestamp, with a total thing. It's that's where we get to create the time from.
Yeah, exactly. I've actually learned something really interesting around breakthroughs, and I think now would be a really cool time to share it, particularly because we're talking about how long it's going to take to get the client the result. So I've learned there's two kinds of breakthroughs. There's the instantaneous breakthrough where you're your whole world's changed, and once you see it, you can never see it differently, and it's really quite erratic on the nervous system, and it's undeniable. You feel it, and sometimes it's you have this high, and then the next day you crash as it's integrating through your nervous system and things are shifting. And then you've got what I like to call the dimmer switch breakthrough. And the dimmer switch breakthrough is so much more gentle, and it's so much more gradual on the nervous system. However, it allows for much more graceful embodiment. And it's only a new thing that I've kind of learned this year as I've been doing a lot of somatic work and nervous system work, and actually understanding how the nervous system integrates, because your people only integrate as much as their nervous system can receive. And if their nervous system isn't receiving it, you might be doing the most amazing work in the world, but they're not embodying it. So the dimmer switch breakthrough is a breakthrough that takes them on a gradual journey. And just like you've ever seen the dimmer switch on your lights where it starts off like really dark and then you can turn it on slowly and before you know it, you've got full light, but you don't really know where it went from light off to light on or the journey in between. This is what I call the dimmer switch breakthrough, and it really allows for deep embodiment.
Love it.
Yeah.
Totally love it. And it's really important to, again, take all these things into consideration when you're looking at the totality of the product on offer.
Yeah, amazing. So would you like to share, because I know you've just recently done this or revamped this process with Liberated Launch, and just to give them an idea of what this would look like in real time, could you share a little bit in terms of like how you did this and what it looks like with Liberated Launch?
Yeah, awesome. So I have an amazing, beautiful offering that I'll be releasing out into the world shortly, or by the time you're watching this, it's probably already out there. And it's called Liberated Launch. And ultimately what it is taking somebody from sad face to happy face of feeling completely overwhelmed with the launch and delivery of their offering, of being completely in love with the creation process and the birthing process, but it's a little bit more challenging for this person with the sad face to get it out into the world and actually deliver it and execute the marketing process of that really powerfully as well. And the happy face being that, you know, they get to have somebody to support them to execute and deliver their amazing offering out into the world. And so in order to reverse engineer this process, I've been working with a lot of clients in a group and private basis. And what I've noticed for all of them and what they've shown me, and you might notice this too with your own clients, that, you know, there's some certain patterns that start to emerge. And, you know, one of the things that I determined myself in the features of this offering was that it's really, really powerful for me to go into a full half-day deep dive with them where we can really get into the nitty-gritty of this exact process that we're sharing with you today, where we can start to really determine what it's going to look like and kind of redefine, if they've already got some ideas, a really more unique and amazing offering that they get to share with the world, and really kind of create a map. Because, you know, what I noticed through this process with other people is that they get kind of the overview big picture, and then it's so overwhelming with the amount of steps that they need to take that, you know, they don't make any execution, they don't do any of the do. And so again, I determined from that process that they want and need someone to walk with them for the entire process of the launch, not just the creation and the conception of their offering, but also the steps all the way through to launching. And so through this, I determined that having a full half-day deep dive with me was the start of the process. And then over the span of 12 weeks, they would have a one-on-one kind of progress support session where we would continue along the journey, and I would offer them a map of what it's going to look like through them co-creating with me. And so through that, I decided that I really wanted to take them through this in a one-on-one, although there's definitely a way I could do this in a one-to-many. I wanted to get into the nitty-gritty with them. I wanted to have half days that really lights me up to kind of work with somebody at that level, and it's really exciting and fun for me, and I know how much they get out of it. And so I walk with them from day one all the way through to the sales process and when they actually start delivering the product. What have I missed?
That's awesome. So if we were to just kind of like put it into the features category like we were looking before, so you've chosen to take them on this journey that it's going to take them 12 weeks to launch.
Yes.
You've got a half day in there to do the initial thing.
And then
You've got regular check-ins. How many?
We've got 4 90-minute sessions where we go into kind of progress, support, mapping, delivery, all of those things.
Awesome. And then you've also got a map that you create for them so that they can literally see what they need and execute each thing one at a time off of that map.
Yeah, and that's like a really unique thing that I just created myself. I don't know if anybody else does that, but I know how valuable it is to my clients. And so when we read you the list earlier of all the things that you can include, this is something really unique to me and the way that I deliver my products, which is super cool when you can include that. And so then what else have I got included?
Have you got any pre-recorded trainings in there?
No.
Okay. So it's actually really it's quite a simple package. You've got a half day, you've got 4 one-on-ones, you've got a map.
Yep. And then we've got private message access. I know it's really important that they have check-ins with me throughout, in between, and to have some like accountability and have me kind of cheering them on the sidelines is especially important. So that's included. They also get tech and like building support.
Oh, you're brilliant at that.
Yeah, and it is, again, one of my geniuses that most other coaches and business coaches don't offer.
Suck it.
Yeah.
They do suck at it.
Totally. Yeah. And so, and then also a bonus is that something that's really helped me throughout my entire journey is we have a beautiful and amazing friend called Anita, and she offers these like really amazing vibrational plant potions, and they've supported me so much in all of my everything. And so I can see that being a really supportive thing for the clients in this. And so they also get a session with her one-on-one and a plant potion.
That's amazing. It's really 6 things. It's 6. So from that list, you've been able to make your liberated launch 6 components that's going to fully support them from their sad face to happy face, with the half days, the one-on-one sessions. They've got the, let's see how I'm going to do. They've got the private message group.
Yep.
They've got the map.
Yep.
They've got Anita. What am I forgetting?
That's it, babe.
No, there's one more. Oh, the tech support.
The tech support.
There we go.
Yes.
So as you can see, like once you understand their process, it's really easy to choose from that list that we had up. There'll be a PDF of this list as well, so you can actually choose from it to see what you want to put together with your product. And then the only thing you're left to do is put a pretty name on it and put a bow on it, as we like to call it.
And that's it.
That's it.
Premium offer created.
Yeah. So before we jump on to the next video, your job is to map that out, choose from the little sheet in terms of what it is that you want to put your program together, and put a pretty little bow on it. And we will see you on the next video.